Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Mantra 14th. Punascha Janmantara Karma Yogat Sa Eva Jivasvapitis Prabhuddhaha Puratraye Kridati Yasya Jivaha Tatastu Jatam Sakalam Vichitram Adharamanandamakhanda bodham yasmillayam yati puratrayam cha. We have seen because of karma yoga, because of the union here means the pressure of the tendency of the past karma phala, past karma, we wake up. Not only wake up means resurrection. Wake up means rebirth. Because it is like creation, sustenance, dissolution, waking world, dream world, and deep sleep world. Deep sleep actually dissolution. It's like vinashyati. Then again, because many times happened, people just slept and did not get up. So punascha here means after having slept and temporarily enjoyed the reviving pause from the agitations and sorrows of the waking and dream. The individuality does not once forever get extinct, but is revived again to play its part either as a waker or as a dreamer. So this is our experience. But why should it emerge out? Why this painful resurrection again? Because Janmantara Karma Yoga. Through its contact with the deeds done in its previous births. So that is the answer of the question that what makes the sleeper wake up? This has been a question that had, as in the present, so too in the past, fascinated all students of the subjective science. The final declaration of the great masters is that it is because of the impressions and tendencies, vasanas, left over by thoughts, entertained and actions done by individual in his past. The truth of this statement can be demonstrated by a familiar happening in the life of every one of us. Sleep is always disturbed when the sleeping person has an expectation of something to happen in the early hours of the following day. The expectation leaves a disturbing tendency in his mind, which forces him to wake up at short intervals from his sleep. The tendencies to preserve, tendencies are so preserved in the mind. That is why it becomes active and throw up the lava, erupt the lava of thoughts, and they scorch in their devastating flow the cool peace of sleep. These thoughts push out into waking world of activities. Similarly, the vasanas acquired by us in the past will force us to come out of our restful slumber to the fields of life to gather the harvest of our allotted experiences. Sa eva jivaha, the very same individuality. The individuality in me, the individuality in you, the individuality in every being that experience the waking world itself is the entity that on becoming a dreamer dreamed its dreams, and it is again the same individuality that comes to live the peace of its slumber in deep sleep. In short, the waker, the dreamer, and the deep sleeper are the three states of one and the same entity, isn't it? And it is the same entity who again wakes up from sleep and becomes the waker to continue helplessly the life of yesterday's waker. The individuality remaining the same. In this way, it harvests from the three fields. Swapiti prabuddha. The same individualized ego returns to the dream of the waking state. The happy combination of this phrase, though it renders itself to this meaning, has an enchanting suggestion of all its own. As though dreaming, swapiti means as though dreaming, prabuddha wakes up. This is reminiscent of the great Gaudapadacharya's Karika, that the infinite truth manifests to play under two conditions: non-apprehension of reality, avarana or sleep, and second one is misapprehensions of reality, vikshepa. You can say waking state and dream state. Got my point? Non-apprehension of reality means deep sleep. आवरण, माया की जो शक्ति है, और विक्षेप, इसके द्वारा क्या होता है? मिसएप्रीहेंशंस ऑफ रियलिटी, what we feel in waking state and dream state. So since the perceptions of the waker and the dreamer in their respective worlds of plurality are all misapprehensions of reality, Gaudapada Charyaji brackets them together and calls them both as dream. Tulsidas ji also wrote, Jage Jatha Sapana Brahma Jai. Here also, the seer of the Kaivalya Upanishad, Lord Brahmaji says, from the sleep, prompted and pushed out by the compelling urge of the past vasanas, the deep sleeper arrives to reach a delusory realm of pluralistic misconceptions and enjoys therein his own lot in life, either as a waker with his conscious mind or as a dreamer with his subconscious mind. So all these above explanation means mantra number 11, mantra number 12, and the first half of the 13th mantra. It takes, explanations, they are the explanations and which complete the laboratory observation of life. And here follows the next stage of scientific investigation accepted by all orthodox sciences, called analysis and deduction. Nyaya Vaiseshika. In the subjective investigation of reality, there is not much data for the seeker to work upon. The only available field for observation is provided by one's own experiences in the three fields of consciousness familiar to all of us, called the waking, dream, and deep sleep. This has been advocated as an efficient path in the major Upanishads. And students who have developed the faculty of introspection with which they can pursue this method. It is not efficient and effective. So, Puratraye Kridati Yaha, the being who sports in the three cities. So the idea contained in this portion, in this phrase, can be illustrated from our own daily experiences. You leave your native town and go on a holiday trip to another town and another town and return back to your own town. So at your own town, you lead a comfortable and happy life with your all family members, suppose. Very often we find the senses of wonderment selected as an emotion to express the voiceless joy of the divine awakening. There are some panditas, so-called panditas, who find fault with this technique of expression of the rishis by pointing out very logically indeed that this sense of wonderment is impossible in a realized saint because at the moment of his experience, he would have transcended his mind and therefore has no instrument to feel any more emotions whatsoever. The Pandita is right in his statement, but wrong in their understanding. The scriptural rishis, seers, have two functions to fulfill through the Upanishads. First one is to declare the truth and to reveal the same for the student. सिर्फ मैं जानने से तो नहीं होगा. The students who are listening, उनको भी सहायता करना पड़ेगा जो वो भी सत्य को जाने, सत्य को खोज सके. There is no monopoly business in finding out truth. I am the only revealer of truth. This is my teachings. Everything I teach, this is the result of Guru Parampara. Whatever my own experience and own feeling, I generally never tell. Whatever I tell, I heard from my acharyas. My acharyas have heard from their acharya. It's a parampara sadhana. Because you know, any human product, there is a chance of any defects. Out of emotion, I may see something else. I may think something else. That whenever I close eyes, I see some rays, as if the fountain of rays. And I will start preaching that truth means fountain of rays. What is truth? That is revealed in scriptures. Apaurashya Vedaha is our only constitution for Brahman, revealing Brahman. And that things we hear from our Guru Parampara in a very simplified and diluted manner. And they authorize their students to preach, to preserve and preach the same. It's a lineage, Jnana Parampara. The Upanishads contain not only the declaration, but are also full of revelations. This cry of wonderment is a declaration inasmuch as it declares to me what I would be feeling when I come face to face with the vastness and splendor of the effulgent one. It is also a revelation inasmuch as in my ordinary life wonders, is an emotion that comes to me whatever I apprehend something that is beyond my intellect to comprehend and beyond my mind to feel. During all such experiences, when my reasoning faculty is benumbed and my feelings frozen at the onslaught of an experience, I cry The wonder. The Brahmananda Valli in Taittiriya Upanishad, there is a mantra, Ho ha, ho ha, ho ha. This is the mantra. That after knowing the truth, that I am that Anandamaya, this is the expression of a student. This is the expression of a student. Words like Adbhutam, Ascharyam, Vichitram are all exclamations of wonder, equivalent of oh, ah, oh, ha, like that. The term Visitram, therefore, not only declares the uniqueness of this experience of God vision, but also gives me an inkling that this revelation will reach me when I have transcended my vehicles of feelings and reasoning. That is Adhar. It is the substratum in all ornaments, which is gold. Gold is the substratum of all gold ornaments. For all waves, the ocean is the substratum. In all mud pot, mud is the cause. Is ever present, and their shapes, colors, efficiencies, name, and so on are all possible only when the support of the pots, the mud, exists. The support of the ornaments, the gold exists. The support of the waves, the ocean exists. The substratum is the causal and the support. None of the above objects can exist without their substratum, Adhar. If this term is thus understood, then that which is the Adhar for the world of experiences is the self. World of experiences is constituted of the perceptions of objects, the feeling of emotions, and thinking of ideas. The totality of these forms the world of our experiences in life. Who is ever playing, the Sakshi, who is ever playing in our everyday life, within ourselves as a waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. Then Anandam, Akhanda Bodha, the indivisible bliss consciousness. There are no vehicles in the truth, and therefore none of the three sorrows, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, and Adhyatmika, with which the individualized ego or jiva is persecuted, can ever reach to darken the perfect bliss, ananda. Bliss means ananda of that condition. This is not the joy that we gain through our sense contacts with the world outside, because in all of them, we know the experience is ever finite. I love to have ice cream. Someone has offered me an ice cream. I'm very happy. But again, I will be unhappy. Or if the same person offer me and afterwards force me to have 50 ice cream. So at the same time, the same object of my happiness becomes the cause of my sorrow. Clear? So everything is, that is the finite thing. That this bliss is its nature is now indicated by the term unbroken, akhanda. Clear? So this Atma or self or the consciousness is of the nature of the knowledge, because this is the source of our all of our empirical knowledge. Our awareness of things is but a play of our consciousness upon the objects which is perceived, emotions felt, or ideals contemplated. Since our consciousness is the light that brings all our experiences into our own knowledge, it is indicated here as the knowledge, and knowledge itself, pure and simple, and not knowledge of anything. It is something like light in itself, and not light reflected on any object. So light in itself is not the illumination that we experience upon any object, but is that which can illuminate all objects that are in its medium. So consciousness is knowledge itself when it is not playing upon any thought wave in the bosom. Now, another word is yasmin layam yati puratrayam cha, in whom the three cities ultimately get themselves merged. So the substratum for the dream world is the waker's mind, and on waking up from the dream, the very waker must experience that his dream has merged back into his own waking mind. Similarly, this great substratum, divine of the nature of the immutable bliss consciousness, is not only the womb of the world of experiences, but it is also the very sacred tomb of all pluralistic misconceptions. Intellectually, thus distilling away the essential reality from amidst the confused jiva or confused medley of personalities, of identities, and their variegated experiences. Means, I'm talking about physical, mental, and intellectual entities, and as waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper entities. The contemplator reaches the seat of reality, the very self in him, and comes to experience that which is the self alone, that expresses as all these everywhere at all times. Hari Om Tat Sat.